Good evening. This is the East Lyme Board of Selectmen regular meeting of December 18th, 2024. We're in the East Lyme Town Hall upper meeting room at 7 o'clock. We could rise and recite Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Great, thank you. Get her live. Okay, so are there any additional agenda or consent calendar items? I do have one. I would move to add a 2B item. Okay, you're on speakerphone.
All right, thanks.
So we're adding, I'm moving to add 2B services to community. And do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All right, we got you. All right, you're on the record, Candace.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, thanks.
Okay. All right, do we have any delegations tonight? Are there any delegations? No delegations.
No, Nick's coming
Oh,
out.
Nick.
Dan, let me
We
turn
do
it
have
down.
it.
I wasn't sure. Turn it down. Background noise.
Okay.
Hello. Hello?
Hi.
I don't think this is on. Okay. Oh, I know you can probably all hear me, but I'm not sure if anyone at home who is undoubtedly watching can hear me. I'm Nick Menapace. I'm the new state representative-elect. I'll be going into office on January 8th, and I'm really just here to offer it up that I am very much available. If any of you feel like there's something that we need, that the state can be of help with, if I can be of help with, I suppose it doesn't need to be about state funding. You guys can always come to me just because you think I might, I don't know, be a right guy for it. But I would very much love to be of help in there, and in that way, I suppose there is some slight guidance that I could be asking you on this, is that I have been pursuing a project both as my time on the Planning Commission and in my as I'm moving into my new role as I plan to stay on the Planning Commission, of talking about ways to better help the town when it comes to, say, like walkable infrastructure, bikeable infrastructure, because it's something that I mentioned to our planning department head that it has been a bit of a challenge, because it seems that who is exactly in charge of this has been very unclear at times. I know I've been told, oh, go talk to the Parks and Rec department. I talk to them and they say we have nothing to do with it if it's not in a park. And then I talk to the planning department and they'll tell me, oh, well, you should have gone and talked to them. You should talk to the zoning board. When it comes, oh, it's in the POCD, you should talk to them. And every time I could just say it's a little unclear. If it's unclear for me, I could say that it's also very unclear for some of our residents in town. And when it comes to these types of projects, it would be, I don't know if it's really your responsibility to tell me that it's helpful to know who exactly is in charge of something like this, but I suppose it's really just another, the guidance factor of who would be the right person to talk to is definitely confusing. All right? Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. Anyone else? I don't see anyone, so we'll move on. Approval of the minutes, regular meeting of December 4th, 2024. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve the regular meeting minutes of December 4th, 2024 as submitted.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any changes? Everybody good with the minutes? Well, okay. All right. Then, all in favor of approving the minutes, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? None opposed, so motion carries and the minutes are approved. We will move to the consent calendar. Next item on the agenda.
Move to approve the consent calendar for December 18th, 2024 in the amount of $1,231.67.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All right, looks like a pretty routine consent calendar. Nothing, I don't know, no large figures that we need to really look at. So, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Being none, it carries. Motion carries. We have some new business. The first item is appointments to boards and commissions. Do I hear, we have for the Zoning Board of Appeals, John Manning. Do I hear an appointment, do I hear a motion to appoint John Manning?
Move to appoint John Manning of 25 Marshfield Road, Niantic, to serve as a member on the Zoning Board of Appeals for the Town of East Lyme, with a term to expire on January 5, 2026.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second. Appreciate John stepping up and willing to be on the Zoning Board of Appeals. Any other discussion regarding John Manning? Being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Being none, motion carries. I did add, we added services to the community. That came up last budget season, and we're trying to do a little bit better, so we're coming up with a process, and we do have a proposed form that people can fill out, and I want to just pass that out to everyone, and I didn't want to pass it out without it being on the agenda, so we would have a proper record. And Candace, we'll email you a copy so you have it.
Yes, please.
Okay. And, yeah, we can take, you can take it home, look it over, but I think it's a pretty good form. Kevin Gervais worked on it, and I think it does everything we need it to do, but we can always make adjustments to it after the board has a chance to review it. But I think the idea would be to have those that want to be part of it submit the form with a 990 or proof that they're actually a 501c3, and then once those forms are in, the Board of Selectmen could review them. We'll find a way to prioritize them or rate them, and try to be fair after we see what response we get. So that's our attempt to improve our process. Any questions about that, or this is really just to hand out the form so we can look at it and start thinking about it?
Okay, great.
Is that all right? Candace, you good with that?
I am.
All right, good. Okay. Moving right through. Okay. Next is we need to schedule a town meeting for the nuclear safety grant. Do I hear a motion to schedule the town meeting?
Move the following. Scheduled town meeting. Town of East Lyme notice of special town meeting, January 8th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Notice is hereby given of a special town meeting of the Town of East Lyme to be held on Wednesday, January 8th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the East Lyme Town Hall Upper Meeting Room for the following purposes. 1. To receive communications from the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance with respect to a motion to approve a special appropriation in the amount of $75,000 to cover the cost of purchasing the below-listed equipment and services for the Department of Emergency Management. 2. To consider and act upon a motion to approve a special appropriation in the amount of $75,000 to cover the cost of purchasing the below-listed equipment and services for the Department of Emergency Management. So the 2025 NSEF special appropriation for awarded grant-funded purchases. I guess items are 1/4 of EMD salary and fringe benefits from 7/1/24 to 9/30/24, $33,485.65. 2020 Ford Interceptor EMD vehicle, including all installed equipment, $39,532. Phase 1 electrical project for EM trailers, install RV electrical in lower lot to maintain readiness for deployment, $736.35. Wireless Vantage Pro 2 Plus for North Tower. The description is real-time severe weather monitoring, allows for more accurate and timely warning decisions for the community, provides continuous site-specific meteorological data that is invaluable for comprehensive emergency management planning, such as evacuations and resource allocations, $1,246. The total of the reimbursable awarded grant is $75,000.
And then finally to transact.
Oh, where is it?
Do we have to do? Oh, you don't have to.
No.
No, that's it. Okay, yep. All right. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right. Any questions?
The salary, this is for 1/4?
It's 1/4 of the emergency management EMD salary, yep.
Is that just one time?
It'll cover it for, from 7/1 till 9/30, 24. So it's a help to the town. It can be used for that purpose.
I know this probably isn't the time or place, but I was just wondering if that Vantage Pro 2 Plus could be made available to the schools. If that is that going to generate public information that they, science teachers could use?
That's the weather monitoring. I think that's really, maybe there's some way that they could connect it up, but
It's specifically part of their system.
yeah,
Okay.
it's so that we can get early warning if there's a storm, so that we can be distributed to the emergency management.
Just got
Right.
excited as a science teacher. It's like, oh, that'd be so
Yeah,
cool.
well, maybe there is, or maybe you can go down there and see how it works. But at any rate, there's no other questions. We have a first and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Being none, motion carries. Okay. All right. Do we have any ex officio reports tonight?
Ex officios?
I'll pass.
So, the only thing I wanted to bring up was, we've been talking about the dog park, and I did speak to, Donna Palumbo, and then I spoke to, Gary Gaishel and Jerry Locken, actually, because I know that the dog park subcommittee was thinking about having it over by Roxbury Road and Quarry Lane, and because a lot of people are objecting to it, they're basically going to go back to the Park and Rec in January and I guess kind of reevaluate and try to find either a different site or just reevaluate what they want to do. So that's
Okay,
kind of it.
thank you. Don, anything you want to report?
No, sir.
Okay. I have a couple things. I did attend the police commission meeting last week, and one of the issues that's been confronting the police department is the phones, the radio system, and it's also a problem for the fire department too. Communicating with other police departments, communicating with each other, and it's really never been resolved. So I did call a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and we're really trying to get everybody in the room that has any knowledge or understanding of our phone system. And Dan Cleary was very helpful. He participated in that. But I wanted to let them know we're really making that a priority and trying to figure out how we get our radio system, the towers, everything working. So they're very concerned and interested in that issue. The other thing was they hired a new cadet who will be entering the police academy. So we're happy to see a new young police officer starting down the path. So that's a positive thing. And that's all I have for my ex officio report. There's no. Do you have Candace? Let's get Candace
Yep.
mic'd up.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold on.
Hold on one
I
second.
want to get you near the mic. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. First, thank you for accommodating me for tonight. Lincoln's first wrestling match is up in Putnam, so I worked my way down the school corridor to where it's a quiet space. So thank you for that. I am the December rep for the board of Ed, and their first meeting, of course, pretty much revolved around chair and secretary. There was some discussion on what committee format would be looking like. And the calendar for the year. There were some concerns over class sizes and the consolidation of a preschool program option in town. They were brought forward by some community members. Then Park and Rec Commission meeting, of course, revolved around the budget discussion, what they were going to be moving forward with. And yes, the dog park did come up, and they will be revisiting that in about a month or two, but some plans have been drawn up for the Roxbury site, and also some discussion revolved around a possible other site to be discussed, possibly at Darrow Pond.
So we'll stay tuned for that. The Youth and Family was canceled because of a conflicting event. And then, of course, the Niantic Jingle Bell and the Niantic Light Parade. And the Board of Ed meeting the other night was budget conversation as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Candace. Appreciate that report. I'm going to return the
I
phone.
appreciate I made a list.
Ah, you did good. Okay, so that's it for ex officio reports. I do have a Selectmen's report tonight. As Candace already mentioned, there was a great turnout for the light parade. The estimates are about 1,500 people or more attended the event.
15,000?
15,000. Yeah, it looked a little light. I mean, no. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, 15,000 people. So, yeah, it was well attended and everybody had a nice time. A lot of great floats, so appreciate all the community involvement. We're very fortunate that everyone takes such an interest. I did attend, I go bi-weekly to the 161 I-95 overpass engineering meeting, and they give me an update. And the project is now entering a new phase. Much of the work that we'll see will be off to the sides, won't be right on Route 161, so there'll be less impact going north and south on Route 161. The traffic is up and over in the northbound lane on the new bridge. And so the next phase will be to take down start taking down the next section of the old bridge. And so they'll be working on that, but that will, we probably won't see any interruptions in our traffic until mid-March. So they're slowing down just a bit over the holidays, and then they're going to pick back up again. But traffic pattern should be much easier than it's been in the past. The other thing they're doing, there's been some concerns about the markings on the roads. They were waiting for 2 or 3 dry days in a row. They're going to be putting white beaded epoxy lettering, lines and arrows and the markings on the road. They hope to have that done by the end of this week for both up on the highway and on Route 161. So it's going to be a big improvement and make it a lot safer so people know where they are on the road. I will mention, shout out and a thank you to the East Lyme Fire Service. The other night, about 2 in the morning, there was a sailboat in distress, and it was a very stormy night, and 40-mile-an-hour winds, large whitecaps and waves coming in. It was rain. Terrible night to be out in a boat. Yet our fire department, they put a boat in the water, as did Waterford and the Coast Guard. And I was watching it from the boardwalk with binoculars, and actually it was so bad that the red lights on the Coast Guard vessel disappeared for a while. There was that much rain and interference. But they got the guy and his cat off of the boat, saved both of them. And I was very thankful at about 2:30 in the morning to hear on the scanner that our boat was back in and our guys were safe. So thank you to them, and they did a great job. They saved the guy and his little cat out on his boat. All right, that's my report. Is there any communication from the public? Don't see any. All right. No public comment. So there's no selectmen's response. So at this time, if we could have a motion to go into executive session.
Can I just say one
sure.
thing?
Of course.
Just in response to what Nick Menapace stood up was asking, I think, about I think it was like bike paths and stuff.
Yeah.
So how it really works, the bottom line is, like, zoning can tell, because I've talked to people at zoning about this, they can encourage developers to put in sidewalks, but if they're not required, they don't have to put them in. For other places in town, it comes down usually to funds. So a lot of times it's not necessarily that people don't want them. It comes down to, budgetary issues. So if people are saying, oh, it's not us, it's because they don't have the funds to do it.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of, and I know that you've been going to different meetings and been kind of been bounced around, and everybody has a certain priorities, I guess, and so I think that's part of the issue with zoning, planning. It is in the PEOCD. So I think people are aware of it, and I think it's something that a lot of people in town want. And, you know, it's on the list of wants, for sure.
And if I could just say, because I know that's not the exact format, part of my frustration right now is that I have actually come forward and say, hey, I have some people who say who are saying, yes, we're looking to fund projects like this in towns with grants, with direct funding through bonding, and there still seems to be a lot of confusion over who exactly is responsible for that. That's, like, because I know nobody wants to spend the money on something like that. I understand a lot of ways. They're looking, where are we going to get the funding? Well, I'm trying to come in potentially with the funding for this project, and I'm not just saying I don't have that in hand or something right now, but I want to be able to work with someone on it. And the frustration I'm getting to is that it's like, okay, it's still something where people are like, I don't know who's responsible for that, because I know that when I talked to zoning, they said we don't have any money, we don't have the ability to do that, and we don't have the authority to make them do it. Planning Commission says much the same thing, that we have no ability to make anyone do it. And I just know that this was brought up to us on the Planning Commission, that there was funds available for doing a bike path along West Main Street, and essentially that was something the state was offering out as like a grant, and no one in town ever really pursued it. And I know this had been like a little while ago, but it was like, I know I expressed some frustration of like, really, we didn't go after that.
Well, just, do you mind?
No, of course not.
The only thing I was going to say regarding grants is, you know, people have to apply for them.
Yeah.
They're usually time intensive, and so you need a person to do them. That's part of the issues. There's a lot of grants out there that sometimes, unfortunately, we're not able to take advantage of. So that's the only thing that I can actually think of that, you know, would be happening.
And I will say this again, I very much understand. I just know that for me, it's definitely, I guess I'm not like angry, I'm not afraid. It's just more of like, I'm looking at there like, well, then who is it? If I have the ability to say, hey, I would like to get, you know, help get funding for this project. And, you know, I know for a while I'd been talking to our former director for the Parks and Rec Department. We were pursuing that as an idea, and then after his retirement, it just became no one at the Parks and Rec Department had any idea what I was talking about anymore. And so when I pursued it with the new director, wasn't an interest, I understand. I'm just more of a little bit in that confusion that it doesn't seem that anyone really knows who should be taking the lead on that. And that's not like, I guess, anybody's fault in any way. I'm mostly just commenting of like, oh, maybe we should, because as you said, it's in the POCD. We want to encourage these things, but it doesn't seem that anybody really knows who has the authority to actually do it. And I don't want to have every single decision be coming back to you all. And, you know, you guys have a lot that you're trying to manage, and I don't think it should have to be like, well, every grant, well, we need these guys to be able to say this. It's like, shouldn't there be something here with Public Works or with the Planning Department or the Zoning Department or something that is able to, you know, kind of take the lead on this?
Nick, don't you think a good idea would be like what we're dealing with right now in the Planning Commission, where the gentleman is trying to subdivide a piece of property?
Yeah.
So he's made a request to the Planning Department, so that a request comes forward that this is what you want to do on West Main Street. This is what we think can be done.
Yeah.
And start by turning in the request, and let's see where it goes.
I guess I'm not sure. Do you mean
Well,
just
like
with
the gentleman that's subdividing the property down in Flanders.
Yes.
He's made a request to do that, and that's gone to the planning board. So I'm saying, wouldn't the same process that you want to do this, at least find out where the dead end is?
Yeah, I suppose that's kind of where this is starting from for me, is that we sort of have done that in the Planning Commission. It's like, and the conclusion from the Gary Gaishel has been, well, we can send it up the chain. I'm like, well, who's the next stop on the chain? And it's kind of just like, oh, I'm not really sure. And as you're right, because I absolutely do want to start that process in that way.
As a rookie, I'm finding that out too. Meaning
Yeah.
that sometimes that I don't know the process of which road to drive. So put in a request or saying, look, I'd like to have this done. What do I need to do next?
Yeah.
And let's find out what desk it stops on.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, that's pretty much exactly where I am for. I just know for me that I'm a little impatient. I'm like, okay, who's our next stop on this one? And everyone's like, oh, we'll have to see what happens.
Okay.
But thank you, Don. That's, yeah.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you
Yeah.
for your comments, Nick.
Yeah.
All right, and I will.
To the extent that I can shed some light on it, I'll look into it. All right, at this time, looking for a motion to go into executive session to discuss potential litigation and the East Lyme Ambulance Fund contract negotiations.
Move to enter into executive session for the purpose of reviewing potential litigation in East Lyme Ambulance Fund contract negotiations. And that would be at 7:25 p.m.
Okay, and I'd like to retire to my office to conduct this discussion.
Candace could be on this, correct?
Yeah, of course.
Do I hear a
Oh, I'm
Second.
sorry.
second?
We have a second. All in favor? I forgot. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're in executive session.
All right. Move to adjourn the December 18, 2024
we need Don.
Oh, we need
regular
Don.
Yeah.
meeting of the Board of Selectmen at
We said
8:14.
Oh, 8:14. Okay,
Do I hear a second?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we're back on the record in regular session.
And
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
We just did that.
we just
Oh, we
did
just
that.
did it?
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
did that.
Oh, we're all right.
We're off the air.
We're off the air.